everything suggests you can, so I'm sure you can, and you can probably see me as well. I'm Michael from EzzyBills, and I will be the person giving the webinar today rather than Elise. And I'm going to cover some recent and what we'd call advanced functionality in EzzyBills. So some of these things we've mentioned before, we might have even given a webinar on before, like statement reconciliation, but there are some new features which I haven't spoken about before, which is things like remittance advice, processing remittance advice. So that's a recent addition for EzzyBills. So I'll go over that. We'll also cover price checking. So we've probably mentioned that we support the ability to do price checking. It's quite, some companies use it quite extensively now with EzzyBills. So I'll go over sort of the way that they typically use the price check for in EzzyBills. And the final thing I'll cover will be related to EInvoicing. So we would have spoken about EInvoicing in the past, but in the past, I guess, customers have not found a need yet for it. So I'll give a bit of an update on how EInvoicing is working in Australia right now, who's using it, who's sending e-invoices, what they are. But I'll also give you some cases, recent cases that I've had to deal with, which is European customers. So if you've got a European customer, many companies in Europe now require you to send them e-invoices rather than a PDF. And so that's a situation where you actually do have to find a solution if you want to get paid by a European supplier. So I'll show you how EzzyBills can be used for that as well. So that's a fair bit of information. So we'll get going. And if anyone has any trouble hearing or anything like that, it'd be a good time just to send something into the chat. So somebody said good morning, so it sounds like you can hear me okay, so that's good. All right, so the first thing I think I'll cover is statement reconciliation. So let me go into my EzzyBill account. All right, and you'll see I've got a HQ dashboard, HQ account, and so I'm going to go into my account that I'm going to use for the demo. So for statement reconciliation, so I'm just bringing up some statements. So let me drag it across. All right, so this is a typical statement from a supplier. So the statement would have a list of all the invoices that the supplier has sent you, and basically you should have paid them all, and the statement probably may well indicate that you've paid them or not, but it's basically a running summary of your interactions with your supplier. In this case, the supplier is a machinery supply. And so these bills, they should be in my QuickBooks or MyOb or Xero account. And what I want to do is if a supplier sends me a statement, I want to verify that actually these statements have been paid or they're in my Xero account, etc. So the easiest way to do that with EzzyBills is actually just to upload the statement. So what you can do is you could go into your Xero and search for every individual statement, but that's exactly what EzzyBills does for you. So the easiest way to upload a statement would be going to the apps page, go statement reconciliation, click on this link. And all I'm going to do is drag the statement into there. So and now I'm sending the statement. So I'm basically sending the statement to my EzzyBill account, and the people who are using statement reconciliation, they probably are doing it automatically. So what you can do, in addition to manually doing it, what you can do is actually come into the workflow, and you'll see that there is a statement workflow. So these relate to different document types. So when a document comes into EzzyBills, we identify the type of the document. So normally they're all invoices, right? But there can be other different document types. And the typical situation is like on a standard EzzyBills workflow, everything that's an invoice gets processed according to the standard workflow. Anything that's like a statement or something like that would just get stored in EzzyBills, unless you upload it to the statement reconciliation workflow, or you can come in here and actually set up a statement reconciliation workflow. And so if a statement came into my EzzyBill account, because I have created a statement reconciliation workflow, which you would do by just going in new. So to create a statement reconciliation workflow, you choose statement, you would come in here and go new and choose the statement reconciliation. It doesn't show because I've already got it set up. So that's if you wanted to set it up automatically. If you just want to email in the statement, then you just don't have to do that. You can just email it through the way I showed. So to do it manually, you'd come statement reconciliation, just send an email to .sr@ezzybills1.com. So just there. So that's precisely what's happened. And so that statement has been uploaded to EzzyBills a minute ago. We extracted the information off the statement. So if we come in here and we'll have a look. So this is the statement. So we've gone and extracted all the invoices, and we've done pretty much what you would do if you did it manually. We've gone and looked into Xero for an invoice number 1098, and we've actually found the invoice in there, and then we've marked it as a tick. So we know that that statement from that supplier is actually in our Xero account, and it's all processed fine, nothing to worry about. And if we come and click on the link, we'll find the statement in there, and there it is. And if this invoice or bill had been paid, then the status would be paid rather than authorized. Now, these ones here are a problem because they're not in my Xero account. So a statement from the supplier says that they've given us this bill for $200, but we don't actually have it in our system. So that's a good indicator that we actually either didn't receive it or it hasn't found its way into our Xero account. So we'll probably have to go looking for it or something like that. So that's basically statement reconciliation. If anyone has any questions along the way, they can certainly put them in chat, and then I can respond as we go. So that's the statement reconciliation. So that's on the supplier side. So the other thing, of course, is the remittance advice. So these are this is where you've basically send a sale invoice to a customer. So you'd send a series of sale invoices to your customers, and when they go to pay them, they will probably send you a remittance advice to inform you that it's been paid, and you can probably then update your statuses and things like that in Xero. So right now you might be ignoring remittance advices, or you might be processing them manually. So we also do process remittance advice. So once again, you could just come into the apps, remittance advice. And what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to send in a remittance into my EzzyBill account. We can have a look at this remittance, which is here. So So I've my customer has sent me a remittance advice saying that they've the variety of different statuses related to the invoices, whether they've paid them, etc. So what you can do is you can upload that remittance advice, and once again, EzzyBills will connect to Xero, extract or search for the invoice numbers relating to that remittance advice and checking for the status of each of them. I've got a question here while we wait for that, so I'll just. Okay, so a question, once missing invoices are entered into Xero with the statement reconciliation or revise showing. Okay, so this is something actually that's been requested, and it's something we're actually about to release as well. Wasn't done in time for the webinar, but so one of the issues I guess people would have with a statement reconciliation is we go and check Xero to see if the invoices are in there or not, and if they're not, then they're obviously missing. Now, what you might do is you might go into Xero, find the bill, or enter the bill because it hasn't been put in or something like that, and you want to redo the statement, refresh it so that you can see the updated statuses. So we are going to put in a refresh button here. There'll be a refresh button. So if you hit the button, we'll basically do a refresh and regenerate the results. So if those invoices come through, then they'll show up in the report. So that's something that we're adding. Until we've added it, you would basically have to go into EzzyBills and re-upload. So for example, if we go into a report, say, and let's say I go and pay this one. All right, so the status has been updated to paid now. Although if we look at the report, it's not going to change because we haven't actually done any refresh or anything like that. So you would have to come into here, statement reconciliation, and re-upload it, and then we would regenerate it. But what we're working on and should be released soon is a button where you can just hit the refresh and it'll refresh it for you and regenerate the report. And so once this finishes, we'll see it being, regenerated, and we'll see the status change. So if we get back to the remittance advice, so this is the remittance advice that I uploaded. And so once again, EzzyBills has searched through, in this case, all the sale invoices and found the sale invoice corresponding to one of the invoices on this remittance advice. So it's found the first one, and it's been paid. So all good. Except for, of course, the amounts are completely wrong. So that's not good. So you might want to look into that. So that's remittance advice. And so basically you can now handle both those scenarios. So when you get a remittance advice saying invoices are paid, you can upload it to EzzyBills and we should be able to generate a report for you. And exactly the same for statement reconciliation. All right. So that's remittance advice, statement reconciliation. So this is the one that I just updated, and you see its status has been changed. So the plan is to basically allow you to just push a button and trigger a refresh so you don't have to upload again. All right. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to cover was price checking. So this requires a change to the workflow. So if you're on like a standard, say a Xero or QuickBooks or My workflow, you'd be on something like this. This would be your workflow. I'll just get another question here. Okay, so a question about the statement reconciliation, question is basically what sort of format, and they ask, do we support Excel? Excel should be fine. Pretty much any human readable format should be fine. So if it's a scan, if it's a PDF, if it's an Excel or Word doc, it shouldn't matter, it should be fine. All right. So for the price check, so this would be sort of the standard workflow that you'd be on. And if you want to use price checking, so you want your bills price checked, then what you would do is you'd come in here, choose, say, EzzyBills, or whatever your workflow is. We're just going to copy it for you. And then what you want to do is basically copy across the price check, and you drop that in here. And we'll set that as the default workflow. All right, and we probably want to rename it to something. All right. So this is the price check workflow. So when a bill comes through EzzyBills, it's just going to go to this, do the price check before it exports to QuickBooks or My or that. Now, the way this particular price check works is you have to upload a file which contains the parts and the prices. And if I go and open up a file here, right, so I've got a file now. You'll find your files are probably going to be much bigger than this, but basically a file contains a part, a description, and a price. And those should match what is on your bills. So when the bill comes in, we'll check the prices, and if the prices match the bill, then there's no problems at all. So let me just bring that price check in. I'll upload the price check. I think we want to do price list includes tax. So in my case, my prices include tax. So I've now uploaded the price list, and this is our default workflow. So what will happen now is when I go to upload the bill, so it's going to upload a Bunnings bill and drag it across. So if we have a look at it, so it's a bill. It's got item codes, prices, etc. And so these are the prices on the bill. And these are the prices that EzzyBills are going to extract. And they're the prices that EzzyBills are going to compare against your price list. And that's where the price check happens. And if the prices are the same, then the price check will say all prices are good. And if there's a difference, it'll identify the difference. and then we can generate a report for that. So if I have a look at the data here, so let's have a look. So this is the data from the bill, and if we have a look at the price list, we'll see that there's a difference in the price on that third line. So I would expect EzzyBills to report a price discrepancy for that line. And so let's come over here. So it's doing the price check now. So 3 of the 5 passed, and I think the third line and the last line is actually wrong. So you can see here, there actually problem on the, where are we? There was a problem with that $50.22 and the $4.78. So there are 2 problems. So the price check runs, we export it to 0. The bill goes out into 0. We're going to export, what's on the bill. The bill's now in 0. But there was a price discrepancy. And so to see I guess the price discrepancy, you would come over to the apps page, and there's this price check report. And that basically will then run and check all the discrepancies that have occurred and generate a report. So I'll just start that now and generate a report. And that report will come into my email, which is here. Yeah, so basically a report's been generated for this invoice, invoice number, and these are basically the differences that we detected. So what you can do is you can enable the price checking and then just periodically run your report and just check to see that if there are any discrepancies, and if there are, you can do whatever you need to do. Okay. Now the last thing I want to cover is a case that's come up recently related to PEPL invoices. So EzzyBills supports the processing of e-invoices, so we can send and receive e-invoices. So the typical scenario is a supplier right now, they might send you a PDF, but you for some suppliers, including Bunnings right now, so Bunnings supports it, as well as some other suppliers like BOC Gas. So these suppliers can send you what's called a PEPL e-invoice rather than a PDF. And if they send you a PEPL e-invoice, then it will basically come into EzzyBills just like a PDF would. To receive PEPL e-invoices, you would just basically go to your EzzyBill account, come in here, put in your ABN number, and then there's a button here where you add yourself to the network. And then once you're on the network, if your supplier sends e-invoices, then you would start receiving them. Normally, you would have to contact your supplier and say, I'd like to receive e-invoices now. When an e-invoice comes in, it'll basically come in exactly the same way as a PDF. It would come into EzzyBills, we'd extract the data, etc., and put it into your accounting system. So it doesn't. The only thing you need to do is basically click the button to add. There's nothing else you need to do. Everything else would happen It's just like a different way of receiving things. So that'll become more important as more suppliers start sending e-invoices. But the actual case I wanted to talk about now is another e-invoice related case, and that is if you've got customers in the EU, then some companies are now in the EU are mandating that they receive all invoices via the PEPL network. So if you've got a customer, say in France, and you send them a PDF every month or something like that, and you know, they would pay your PDF. Well, they might have told you now that no, you need to send us e-invoices. So if they do that, then you can use EzzyBills to send e-invoices. So the way you would do it is you basically would come into the workflow here, and you would go new, and one of the workflows is send e-invoices. So I've already got it set up so it doesn't show there, but let me just show you. So you would go in here. And so basically, if you needed to send a sale invoice to Europe, then what you would do is you could enable that as the default workflow, or send the sale invoice to this address here. You would then have to, because it's in Australia, you wouldn't need to do this because we use ABN numbers, but in different countries, they have a different IDs. So your customer in Europe would give you their ID. It's generally a code followed by their unique identifier. In our case, it's an ABN. You would put that in there. Then you could just simply upload your e-invoice to EzzyBills, and we will deliver it to them via the network, and it'll get sent straight through to them. So if that situation comes up, just let us know and we can help you out to set it up. But this really just relates to sending e-invoices, say, outside Australia to somewhere else. For everything internal, you don't have to do anything. It's pretty well automatic. So there's a few questions. Okay, so a question about does the invoice does the price check compare the prices of the invoice against what's in Xero or what's in the file? So if we have a look in the workflow over here, all right. So if this is checked, then we're checking our file. If it's not checked, if it's not checked, we should be checking the file in Xero. So if your prices are in Xero, then you would just basically uncheck this and save that, and that should do what you need it to do. So yeah, if you've already got it set up in Xero, then yeah, you would just uncheck that, then click save. All right, now if there's a reason for a price difference, like someone might be giving you a discount on a particular invoice, or there might be a quantity discounts and that sort of stuff. Yeah, we certainly, when connected to Xero, there's really only one price. When you upload your price list, currently we don't have like price groups, price ranges, things like that. Not to handle those sort of variations. So not at this stage. Okay, so Amy asked, wouldn't the invoice directly go to zero? I'm not sure. Amy, can you maybe double down on that? Oh, okay. So wouldn't the e-invoice go to zero? So in the case of so the two scenarios. So the scenario you're probably interested in is the scenario where it's all within Australia and your suppliers are sending bills and that sort of stuff. Well, if you're using EzzyBills, then the e-invoice should come to EzzyBills, not to zero. If you send it to zero, then you wouldn't be using EzzyBills at all. You wouldn't be using our variety of functionality, price checking, approvals or anything like that. So if you sent an e-invoice from, or if Bunnings sent you an e-invoice directly to your Xero, then yeah, and it would go into Xero. But yeah, you wouldn't be able to do anything else. So if you're using EzzyBills, you'd certainly want your e-invoices coming through EzzyBills, not through Xero. E-invoicing, a question about e-invoicing in New Zealand. So we support e-invoicing in New Zealand. I guess I haven't really tested it, but yeah, like e-invoicing should work okay in New Zealand. If I'm not sure of which suppliers in New Zealand are sending e-invoices. We're currently in sort of trials with Bunnings in Australia, and we receive e-invoices from some other big suppliers, but I'm not aware of any suppliers in New Zealand currently sending e-invoices. So yeah, we definitely support it, but I'm not aware of any being sent and received yet in New Zealand. But yeah, we do support it. And the only thing you'll need to do is on the apps page, and whether you're in New Zealand or not, you would come into here and you would add your basically your identifier in New Zealand. I think it's the NZ business number, something like that. But yeah, maybe send me an email. I'll look into it and I'll get back to you. Yeah, New Zealand business number. That's probably what it is. Okay, so I've covered everything I wanted to cover in the webinar. If anyone has any more questions, just let me know, and I can answer them, or you can just send me a. Okay, and so someone mentioned that placemakers, I think they're big painting, are they a big painting company or something, in New Zealand are sending or are moving to e-invoices. So yeah, you should be. I will look into it, and we'll send out our weekly newsletter about New Zealand e-invoicing. So it would be a case of you would put in your New Zealand business number, click that, and you should be on the network and be able to receive from them. So thanks very much for attending the webinar, and I will think of some other interesting things to talk about in another webinar, maybe one more before the end of the year. Hope everyone has a good day, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.